timekeeper is ready, and your time you are calling. You are welcome.
Good day, Chairman. Good day, panel of judges, members of Nigerian Bar Association, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Valerie Suoye, and I'm from Redeemers International School. I've been given the privilege to speak on the topic, the consequences of indulging in cultism, drug abuse, and premarital sex, the adverse effect on the students in society. Cultism, drug abuse, and premarital sex are related, but dangerous practices capable of destroying not only those involved in it, but also the society at large. Drug abuse in particular seems to be the fulcrum around which these other vices revolve. This is so because anyone taking drugs is capable of indulging in premarital sex or getting hooked up with cultism. Drug abuse then becomes a logical starting point for a discourse like this. According to Google, drug or substance abuse is the use of certain dangerous chemicals for the purpose of creating pleasurable effects on the brain. It takes the form of marijuana use, using drugs like nicotine and heroin, drugs like cocaine and methamphetamine, and the inhaling of other dangerous substances to, in popular parlance, get high. Now, as we all know, anyone who is high is capable of anything negative, whether it be premarital sex, murder, or cult activities. The consequences of drug abuse are many and varied, and following are just a few. Personal consequences. Drug abuse aggravates high blood pressure and diabetes. It also causes brain damage with serious health implications. Economic consequences. Drug abuse encourages the trafficking of drugs, which is an international crime. Drug users hardly are successful in life and therefore constitute an economic burden. Social consequences. Violence and instability in our society. Breakdown of law and order. The society will be filled with never-do-wells. As I have earlier mentioned, drug abuse can also lead to cultism, which can be defined as a ritual practice by a group of people whose membership, admission, policy, and initiation formalities, as well as their mode of operation, are done in secret and kept secret with their activities, having negative effects both on members and non-members alike. From the foregoing, it is obvious that the activities of cultists and cultism have negative effects not only on those involved in it, but also the society in general. Now, the consequences of cultism include the spread of diseases like immunodeficiency syndrome through blood sucking during their initiation and oath-taking, decline in academic performance on the part of members who are often distracted by their cult activities, destruction of lives and properties on our university campuses, general insecurity
That was a wonderful one. We will now have our second speaker,